The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Well, the good Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final all for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but
yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic.
I'm lost.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bird's Eye View here on WTBR-FM Pittsfield, WSBR Lee. This is Jesse and Mike. We have Howard Herman joining us once again as our guest. It is the middle of October. Some interesting stuff down the stretch. Next week, Western Mass tournaments will be out, so that will be a very fun time. That
Tuesday
will come
morning.
out. Come out Tuesday, the way that the usual power rankings do for the state tournament. Monday's the cutoff. Tuesday's when Western Mass comes out. Wednesday's when they start. The Wednesday after that. Wednesday and Thursday after that is when the Western Mass finals will be. So for the Berkshires, that means boys and girls soccer and volleyball. No one out here plays field hockey, so we don't have to worry about that. And I believe, is it this weekend or next week, Mike, that there's Berkshire County cross-country championships?
Berkshire cross-country championships will be Sunday.
And then Western Mass?
Western Mass will be the following Sunday, October 26th. Berkshire is at... mixed reports. I'm pretty sure it's at BCC. That's where it was supposed to be all season. And then I looked up something on Arbiter last night, and it was listed at Greylock. But pretty sure it's still at BCC. And then Western Mass is at Stanley Park out at Westfield State.
They usually do it at Westfield State,
yes.
don't they?
Yeah.
All right, so there you go with cross country. And it was, let's see, we've had some, actually, I since I was there yesterday, and it was by far the best game we've had this week. And we just talked about Western Mass. I saw Lee versus Pioneer Valley Christian Academy last night in Lee, volleyball. So PVCA.
Sorry, I just did the sign of that. No, nothing.
Were you doing the sign of the cross or something? Yeah. Mike's feeling religious all of a sudden. In any case.
No, I think he's blessing you.
Yeah, that's it. PVCA is the number one overall seed in Class D. They're actually, I believe they're the fourth seed in D5. But when you look at their rating, they have a great margin of victory, and their opponent ranking is terrible. And so I've kind of been like, all right, well, that's what's been pushing them up. They play a cupcake schedule. And then you have Lee, whose rating is nowhere near as good, but they play a much better schedule. And so I thought very interesting matchup because Lee is the number 2 seed in Class D, which means that, could very easily be that's the Western Mass final. Lee has made it to 3 straight Class D finals. Should be said because the game against PVCA, that was Lee's regular season finale. Renaissance is the 3rd seed, and Renaissance is very, very, very close behind. Renaissance has 2 more games, so there's a chance Renaissance overtakes them. In any case, Lee loses a 5-set war of attrition. Was a tough one. I put this in the story that I wrote. Lee has played in 9 extra set games, and they are 2-7, and they have a 1-3 mark in 5-setters. It's just really tough. And they won the first set. They were up 10-2 in the first set, and then Pioneer makes a late run, and it's close. And the second set, Pioneer came out strong, and then the third set, Lee came out strong. It's like, all right, 2-1. Come on, do this thing. And they couldn't get it done in the 4th. And then the 5th, they were up 11-9. Pioneer takes a timeout. They're up 13-10. And then they just couldn't close it out. And it's just so Lee can absolutely win the Western Mass Championship.
The one thing I don't understand in volleyball is why that 5th set is only 15 points.
Because everyone wants to go.
Well, that's a different discussion.
Everyone wants to leave, man.
But it feels to me, when you think about it, it feels like, play it to 25, like you're supposed, like the other 4 sets. It just feels like, it's the tie-breaking set. So
I get what you're saying, but an overtime period in soccer is shorter than a regular half.
Yeah.
But it's not overtime. It's a regular set because it's a best of 5.
Well, no, you got to think about it like an overtime set.
But it's not an overtime set. It's the regular thing. It should be 25 points, but It's not a hill I'm willing to
I'm
die
not
on.
familiar enough with volleyball beyond the high school level. Is that just a thing?
No,
that's
hard and
everywhere.
fast.
Volleyball?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's hard and fast for
Oh,
all
then,
indoor
yeah,
volleyball.
I guess that's just what it is.
It's just what it is. Yeah.
I kind of like it. It's a little bit of a sprint. It's like, oh yeah, like let's.
I would also wager that after you've played 4 sets, everyone's gassed. Don't necessarily want them to have to, especially at the high school level. You don't necessarily want them to have to be out there for a full 25 points. But yeah, no. In any case, yes. Pioneer Valley won the fifth set, 16-14. Poor Julia Warner, the lead coach. She was so tough because this has been happening to them all season, where they just can't win the big games, the really long set games.
You said they've been in 3 straight. Did they lose all 3 of those?
So they've been in 4 5-setters and they lost 3.
No, championships.
They've lost 3 straight.
Yeah, so that's you didn't mention that part.
Oh,
you were
yeah,
like,
yeah,
they've been
sorry,
in 3
yeah.
straight, and I'm like,
Yeah.
did they not win any of
so
those
they
3?
beat
Okay.
Greylock in
Yeah.
the Class D championship in 2021. Then they
Okay.
didn't make it in 2022, lost in the semis. 2023, or maybe it's just 2 straight. They lost in 2023 and 2024.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a time. And they're looking to get back.
And because they used to be the Berkshire County power
Sure.
in volleyball.
Since
Back
I've
when-
been here, they've been very, very good.
But back when Julia was playing and her father John was the coach, they were as dominant as anybody in the whole region, not just in the county.
I could tell Julia can play volleyball.
Yes.
She's got
is,
the
yeah.
look. Yeah, what was also very strange. Well, yeah, I think she probably called 2 timeouts the entire match. Pioneer Valley Christian coach must have called 19. I was stunned. It's like, how many timeouts do you get? But yeah, no. Christian has a lot of height. They had one girl who was really, really good around the net, and that was definitely something that Lee took some time to adjust to. But when they did, they can absolutely play with PVCA. They can absolutely beat PVCA, but you can tell they were a little younger.
They're a little smaller.
They're definitely smaller.
Of the good teams, based on their records in Berkshire County, they are far and away the smallest.
Yeah, they don't have much height, but they could get around that. I think it was just a lot of when you have younger and newer kids stepping into roles, momentum is a bigger issue because you don't have the vets who know how to handle other teams' runs. And when PVCA went on a run, it was harder for Lee to break that.
They're very good defensively, though. Claire Davis, their libero, is outstanding.
Yeah, it was her senior night. Lexi Maston's senior night. They did a really, really good job. Hannah Churup might be the best. She was fantastic. She had 15 kills. She had 4 or 5 in the third set, which they won. She was great for them. Number 5 was now forgetting was also pretty good. But yeah, no, that was a really intense game. Very, very interested to see if we get that in Western Mass final. That would be a lot of fun. Definitely a match Lee can win. Obviously, this game was at home, so that helps. But and you're going to be at a neutral site, but still. Yeah. And then obviously it will depend on whether or not Lee can get past Renaissance. We don't know how good they are.
I guess, real quick then. So with 3 days, I guess, left of regular season play, maybe 4 if Saturday counts.
Technically, Monday counts.
Yeah, I was including that. 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Monday. I don't know.
Mike doesn't play on the weekends. How religious is he?
So we said Lee is 2. They are the only team right now in the top 8 for Class D from Berkshire County.
Yep.
Class C, Lennox and Greylock are 1-2. And in Class B, what do we have? Wacona's 3 and Taconic is 6 right now.
Which would be a pretty
East
fun
Longmeadow, Bay State are 1-2.
First round matchup.
Yeah, so Wacona, so top 4 for B, East Longmeadow, Bay State, Wacona, Frontier. Wacona beat Frontier. You saw that one.
Yep.
They did lose 3-0 to East Longmeadow, who seems to be a bit of a juggernaut.
East Longmeadow is very, very good this year. They play in a good league.
And Wacona, we should mention, beat Bay State for the Class B title last year.
Yeah, that will be a really interesting game. Wacona and Bay State have kind of flip-flopped the 2 and 3 spot for a lot of this year. We should be. I mean, you say Lee's the only one in Class D. It's like literally it was the only Berkshire team in Class D up until recently when Drury and Hoosick, the co-op, moved into town.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, Taconic hasn't had much luck against Wacona this year, but it would still be a fun first-round matchup in the 3-6 game. Wacona to Bay State would obviously be a very fun matchup. That would be a big game for Bay State.
Yeah, be a technical Final Four game, yeah.
Right, and then Lennox Greylock is what we've had 2 years running.
They are, kind of, be a little level beyond anyone else. At least if you're looking at power rankings numbers, and we should also mention Pioneer Valley Christian has a rating of over 1. No one else in Class D has a positive rating.
Right.
Same with Lennox and Greylock. They're the only teams with positive ratings. Lennox Greylock split regular season. Lennox won the opener, I believe 3-0, and then Greylock is on this kind of run here that I will say stalled early because they just finished their season like early last week. So they were 5-5, won 4 straight. 2 of those wins were against Lennox and Greylock. Beat Lennox in a 5-setter, I believe, and then swept Wacona.
You mean Lennox and Wacona? You said Lennox and Greylock.
Yes, I meant Lennox and Wacona. Yeah. Greylock then swept Wacona at the end of their season. So
right.
A bit of a run here for Greylock, and that's the kind of inevitability the past 4 years of Greylock.
Well,
Greylock
it's interesting because, as we know, Greylock graduated like everybody.
Yep.
And to see them doing what they're doing right now I don't want to say you expect it, but it's not surprising because
no, I would expect it.
Because
I'll say it.
Because
you don't have to, but I'll say
okay,
it.
because when you're that young and that inexperienced, you just start getting better and better. And I've done maybe 3 of their matches over the course of the season, and Greg Geyer always talks about how most of the kids on this team had never played varsity, because of their experienced people ahead of them. Mm-hmm. And they just keep getting better and better. Yeah,
that was what was obvious to me when I saw them against Pittsfield, which is they're still young, but they are very, very good and they're very talented. And he's pushing the right buttons. And so, yeah, now that you are in the end of the season, they have kind of started to really crystallize, and that's a dangerous prospect for teams that have to face them. And it'll be very interesting to see if this Lennox team, which is far more senior laden, can finally get over the Mount Greylock hump, pun intended, because they've lost to Greylock in the last 2 Class C championships. I covered the one last year. Lennox was up 2-0, and Greylock won 3 straight to reverse sweep them. And so, yeah, it will be very, very interesting to see what happens with Lennox down the stretch.
Test for throughout the seasons here for Lennox, girls have these kind of 19-1, 20-0 seasons. And then have kind of repeatedly fallen just short.
I mean, we'll talk about more about this in the basketball season, but it's just there's some programs.
They run whoever the softball team is.
There's some programs. There's some teams that are about the smoke, and there's some that aren't. And Greylock volleyball is about the smoke, and they're used to this level of competition. And Lennox volleyball does not play the out of league schedule that Greylock does, and you can tell. And like with softball, it's the same thing. They played a terrible schedule because their league is very bad. And they ran into a Franklin Tech squad that has to play Greenfield and Turner's Falls and plays some good teams, and all of a sudden it's a very different prospect. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can do when they face a step up in competition. But we'll move off some volleyball.
Yeah.
Move over from inside to outside, even though it's getting a little colder out. Heat in my house actually kicked on for the first time. I was lying in bed and I'm like, am I losing my marbles? What's that whining sound? And it's the radiator. Wow.
Well, you are losing but that's a different discussion.
But not then. I wasn't losing my mind then.
I don't allow that till November.
What's that?
I don't allow that till November.
Losing your mind?
No, turning on the heat.
Well, I don't control it.
Nor do I. My wife winds up doing it anyway. But I would argue.
Isn't that the quintessential husband thing? Don't touch the thermostat.
Yes, but I lose those battles.
Wow.
Because I'm at work, I guess, and then it gets cold at night.
And you certainly don't want.
I come home and I'm like, why is the heat on?
Well, you don't want the kids to be uncomfortable.
I suppose there's a baby involved now, so.
He said the 9-month-old can fend for itself.
More blankets.
Henry knows where the blankets are. Yeah. Ever get your brother a blanket? Do you control the thermostat in your house?
I do not control the thermostat in my house. I do in my den. where I
that
work.
doesn't count.
Oh, there you go, room by room. I like that.
Well, yeah, we have multiple thermostats in the house, but
just
but
like
the
hoodies
key
all over
but
the
the
place.
key to staying warm for me is the electric blanket that we have.
Oh, look at this fancy pants over here.
Yeah,
Look at this
I
guy.
don't. What I don't do is sleep with it on.
Got that electric blanket money.
Yeah, when I get home, I turn it on, and then I go downstairs and watch. And then when I go to bed, I go up, turn it off because otherwise it gets too hot.
We'll see how my new landlords are, but yeah, my splurge that really just was a necessity to get through the last couple winters was to buy a small space heater, and then 'cause my bedroom it has a door and my living room doesn't, and so that way I just keep it in my bedroom, and that way, like if it's 11 o'clock or it's 10 o'clock at night and I need to write something on deadline and it's 20 degrees out and it's cold and the heating isn't on, then that way I can just pump the heat in for a little bit and keep the fingers warm, type it out. We're going to talk about some soccer, maybe a little football when we get back, so stay tuned here on WTBR and WSBR.
PCTV Select is a great way to watch local content without having a cable subscription. You can keep up with the latest of what's going on in your community from anywhere in the world, and it's available for free right now. Watch live events in full HD on your TV, on your computer, or on the go with your mobile device. Or watch our large library of on-demand video programs anytime that's convenient for you. No more waiting until it's on TV. Did we mention it's free? PCTV Select is everywhere you need to be.
Underwriters are so important for keeping this station alive. Hi, this is Sean Sayre, Executive Director of PCTV. I'd like to thank our local businesses for supporting Pittsfield Community Radio and for believing in the mission of the station. When you hear underwriting messages on the air, you know those companies support WTBR-FM. If you're listening now and your business would like to join in and support us, call me today at 445-4234 and get involved, or visit us at WTBRFM.com. It will make all the difference.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bird's Eye View here on WTBR and WSBR. We were talking volleyball before the break. Now we're going to move over to the field. Some soccer.
I still have not warmed up from last night.
No, well, yeah. Howard was at Mount Greylock and Wacona with
you didn't
Mike.
go under the electric blanket when you got home?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you talked about that.
I needed it. It was.
Yeah,
It was.
half-
You got
halftime,
to do
yeah.
the high school thing, man. Got to bring the blanket with you.
That's true, yeah.
Well, it's hard to bring the blanket when you're walking up and down the sidelines.
They got outlets there. It's a brand new.
You got a
brand new
lawn
facility.
chair. You can just pitch it up and there you go.
Like
Yeah, we
Bernie
got
Sanders. Do the bird watch it like Bernie Sanders. the
We had
inauguration.
also that would be hysterical. That would be hysterical. PHS Taconic had a doubleheader on Tuesday. The PHS girls smoked Taconic 10-0. PHS boys won 2-0 in a much tighter game. Both PHS teams will make Western Mass. Girls look good to make states. Boys will most likely not make states. But yeah, let's start with Greylock and Wacona because Greylock is the top seed in the Class C girls bracket. Mike, you want to pull that up for us? We can discuss
they are
that in a
number one,
second. Wacona is, I believe, the 6th seed or 7th seed in Class B. Girls.
Oh, sorry, we're on girls.
I think they were. I think they were. They were 7, and Pittsfield was 8.
Right. Both should be a lock to make it to Western Mass. They will not play each other, but
no, number 9 Chickabee's not climbing. They're negative 0.6, and
if either
0.3.
and if either of those teams win their next 2 games, they will get some stuff because Wacona and Mount Greylock have really tough ends of their season.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Greylock plays Longmeadow today. Longmeadow is the number 2 team in Division 2, number 1 team in Class A, so several divisions higher.
And they go north, and then they host Northampton,
which is also a very good team.
Number 4 in Class
and
A.
Wacona gets as Frontier and Munson, and both of them are at the top of their respective tables. So
Wacona, so Frontier is actually 1 spot in front of Wacona in Class B by 0.03. So Wacona could climb into 6, which would avoid playing Ludlow. They would get Southwick in the first round of the tournament there, which
probably
would be
a better draw.
I would consider it a much better draw.
Nice way for both of them to end the season, though. Like out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah, it's a little. So actually, both those. So Wacona Munson and Greylock Longmeadow were postponed for Monday, so they kind of backlog a little bit more. But yeah, I wrote about this when I did the power ranking story last Friday. I focused more on Greylock because I was like, they're this, but their opponent rating has been kind of meh throughout the season, but they backlog here with 3 of the biggest games of the season. With the second Wacona game, which they wound up winning 4-0. That third goal was really crucial, I think. I think really probably debilitating for Wacona to lose 3-0. Winds up being 4-0, but I believe the max is 3.
Max is 3.
And then, the games against, which is, Class A number 1 team Longmeadow, Class A number 4 team Northampton are huge. They've played Longmeadow the past 3 years, I think. This is a repeated kind of, they go out there. Longmeadow comes here last year. I think they're going back out there this year. That's tonight now or tomorrow?
It's a
tonight.
game Greylock likes to play because they like to play up a little. And, it helps test them.
It's a nice little
boost,
yeah.
And it doesn't hurt them a whole lot.
Well, and this is what I was saying about programs that are about to smoke. Greylock understands, hey, we need, for power rating purposes, you need to, that's a good thing to
Especially
do.
They are currently, because they're no longer D5,
no.
D5 as well.
I mean, if they were
D4,
if they were still in Division 5 for the state level,
they would be number 1.
They'd be the number 1. They have the number 1 ranking. Now that they're D4 and they're essentially one of the 5 smallest schools in D4, now they're like 14th. So it's definitely a step up, and it's a tougher road. So yeah, getting that experience is really important. Getting the ranking boost is going to be very important too, even if they lose 2-0 to a very, very good, very large Longmeadow team.
And it's something we talk about with all sports. When you're in that 12 to 15, 16 range in the power ratings, teams don't want to see you don't want to be seen because you're better than your rating generally. Because it's schools like Greylock who are smaller and and their schedules don't warrant them to be moved up higher, although maybe when you watch them play they deserve to be higher than that. And I think those are the teams that really cause sleepless nights for those really high seeds.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, because we know Greylock is a very, very good team. Now that they are in D4, it will be interesting to see how they handle that, just a step up in competition. Wacona is lower in the ratings, but they at least understand what they're going to face. So that'll be interesting to see how they both approach the state tournament. I've been trying to rack my brain around the Grieve League this year, which is it is a Berkshire League, even if it's not called that. But I see
we can say it's in honor of Pittsfield baseball legend Tom Grieve.
There you go.
Sure.
There you go. Legendary soccer man. But I see Mount Greylock, the girls soccer team, open up their brand new fields against Pittsfield, and Pittsfield plays into a scoreless draw. Like 2 days after, Pittsfield gets dropped 2-0 by Wacona at home. And then Pittsfield loses again to Wacona 2-1, and they're kind of lucky it's that close. And then Pittsfield loses a crazy game to Greylock that I saw on PCTV. Howard, you covered 4-3, where Pittsfield's going blow for blow in a heavyweight fight. And now Greylock comes back and smokes Wacona twice. And what's going on here, man?
It's soccer. First of all, it's just the way the sport is sometimes, and B, it's these teams are they're all kids, and you sometimes don't know what you're getting day to day. I think the one thing that I got out of that 10-0 blowout was how happy Molly West was that her team qualified for the first time in 4 years.
Yeah, sure. For states.
For states, and she said we did it without the power rating,
right?
Which was their goal. And for Greylock, it was getting used to Blair Dill's coaching over, last year Natalie Harris coached the team to a Western Mass title, and before that those kids, were coached by Tom Ossheimer. But, Blair comes out, had coached the boys for years, won a state title at Greylock back in 2007, and it's an adjustment to a new coach, even though they all know him, because he's a teacher at Mount Greylock. And it takes a little bit of time, with new coaches to get used to their system, especially in soccer, because you play a system and you want to be in the right place at the right time. And they've gotten better and better and better. And last night they were after halftime, they were pretty close to dominant. And Maggie Rivers said the same thing. The Wacona coach said, they give up 2 goals in a minute in the first half. And then it should have been 2-2 at halftime because there were a couple of set plays that didn't connect. And one of them, I was walking by the bench and I heard the coaches talking, saying, that should have been a goal. And then there was one that when Harrington shot it just over the crossbar and then got robbed on a shot. I don't know if you were there and saw it. She took a shot that was going to the upper 90 in the right side, and the Greylock goalie made a really good stop.
Yeah, I'd say Brooke Harrington is better and faster than 95% of the soccer players she'll face in Western Mass. That 5% is both Maddie Powell and Rowan Apatsos on Greylock.
Stuff.
Rowan it's been a long time since I watched a Division I college soccer, but Rowan Apatsos is probably the best defensive soccer player I've seen in my time out here. She's just so much faster than anyone else. She closed out on multiple Wacona players throughout the game.
And she was that way last year too.
She's been that way since she was a 7th grader.
And she, to be honest, last year she started as a freshman, and I can remember Natalie Harris singling her out numerous times when I'd see them, and when they won Western Mass.
Out there, yeah. I consider it as Pittsfield can kind of match Greylock's athleticism in certain positions. Wacona, I don't believe can, but Wacona is just so big and strong that they can kind of overpower a team. Like if they get on top of you, I don't think Pittsfield is big enough in the field.
And Wacona's technically sound.
Sure. Yes.
Yep. Which Pittsfield's more athletic, and Wacona's more technical. And I think
those are just bigger. Like they're just they have some big girls on the team who can kind of outmuscle Daniel Hagmeyer, Gianna Heilbrom, Ella Scalise. These are big, strong athletes. Pittsfield's not quite as big. So I think that's where Wacona just overpowers them, but then Wacona runs up to a Greylock team.
They're a better matchup with Greylock because they have smaller and faster kids.
Yes, but Greylock is both big and fast. They can kind of go both ways.
And
Gina Castro, Adele Lowe, these are also big, strong
They don't have
athletes.
Anyone like Lucy McWeeny from back in the day.
Correct. But I mean, Rowan and Maddie are just so sound. Like they've been back there together for 4 years now, even though Rowan's
all right, we're going to move on because we only have a couple minutes left, and should mention Lee Hoosick Valley football.
I just don't think we said the name Nora Lopez, who leads the county by 20 points.
Oh, sure, yes.
No one has a Nora Lopez.
That's also part of it. Lee Hoosick Valley football 4-0 versus 4-0 this past Saturday. Fantastic game. Lee wins to go 5-0, drops Hoosick to 4-1. Lee, that was a 26-14 win. It was 14-12 Hoosick at half. Lee got the ball to start the third quarter, drove down and scored. Hoosick right back driving, and they did what Hoosick has done all year long, and they turned the ball over. It was an unforced error. Ball went right to Seamus Cooney of Lee. He just held on the ball. Ball popped right to him. Lee got the ball, went on an insane 9-minute, 54-second drive. Took out almost the entire fourth quarter.
The equivalent of running time.
It was very much. They ran the ball. They were very much running time. Very much running time. And Hoosick just could not get off the field. They had multiple opportunities, and they couldn't do it. Lee went to the hard count on a couple instances, and Hoosick jumped both times. Lee gets to the 5-yard line. They get Hoosick to jumps. Now they're at the 2.5. They punch it in with Dawson Reber, and that was basically the game. Then Hoosick has one last drive. Blake Hoff picks off in the red zone, and that is the game. And so it's very much the question of, okay, Lee, I'm fully set on Lee. They are as good as I think they are. Hoosick, it's the same question. It's the same question, and until they figure it out, they are not going to get much further against the good teams.
Which leads me to the one question, because I think I'm the only person who hasn't seen Lee yet, so I don't know. But can they come from behind? I mean, and being down 14-12 at halftime is not really coming from behind.
I get what you mean. I think they can. Now, if you're going to say they're down 14 points, and there's that's when but I think the game plan was very specifically we're going to play as slow as possible. I've seen them play faster. I think they can play faster.
But can they throw the ball enough
they had a 28-yard touchdown pass.
But can they throw my question is, can they throw the ball enough to say come back from a 10, 12 point deficit in the third quarter? Or is that a problem for them?
The problem is that we don't have enough time to talk about it. So we will talk to you next week when Western Mass playoffs have already started. Look forward to it then. Have a good rest of your week.